Hello everyone, and welcome back to the history of the Jebus dynasty. Last time we saw the last years of King Osborne, which were filled with a bloody warfare across his realm defending against holy war attacks, followed by his last years incapacitated from a head injury following a fall. He finally died in March 1152, and this is where today's story begins. His daughter, Queen Lithium, took the throne in a very awkward position. Queen Lithium was a genius, a skilled tactician, and compassionate, but was also greedy and relatively calm. Being a female ruler in 12th century Europe was a hard place to be. Not only that, but she was starting her reign during the regency of Abd Allah, who had spent much of the last few decades cementing his position while the previous king lay in his bed. Queen Lithium did already have two daughters though, Odin and Dora, both of which were showing signs of being geniuses. But once again, a male heir eluded the Jebus dynasty. Today we will watch as Queen Lithium attempts to cement her reign and avoid the machinations of her new vassals. Desperate for a male heir, Lithium chose to focus on her family. During her first court appearance, Queen Lithium was told about a monster prowling the drylands of Satfura. Eager to jump at the chance to prove her own strength, she promised to hunt down the beast herself. Equally wanting to cement her reign, Lithium formed an alliance with her sister, Princess Pebble. She also successfully ended the regency, Abd Allah happily stepping down once his actions on behalf of the previous king had been noted. True to her word, Queen Lithium set off to hunt down the beast of Satfura, and successfully slaying the beast of Satfura, Lithium gained the title of Hunter. Wanting to continue with her strong approach in the early years, Lithium declared war for the kingdom of Sardinia. Landing in the north of Sardinia, Lithium's forces quickly captured the first castle there. Once again, the curse of the Jebus line struck. Lithium's daughter Dora was killed while playing at a friend's castle. At last, a male heir was born to the dynasty. Muz Jebus was born. However, it would soon be noted he lacked the genius of his older sisters. Finally, facing the Sardinians at the Battle of Ligurdo, the Sicilians took the field, the knights devastating the enemy line. July 1156, the war against Sardinia was won. Queen Lithium was now both Queen of Sicily and Sardinia. However, with this new victory came new issues, as it turned out Sardinia had been at war, defending against the holy war from Zab. First major battle of this new war was fought at Mittia, and once again proved to be a Sicilian victory, their armoured horsemen dominating on the flat drylands. During this period, the Normanno-Sicilian and Lombard cultures began to merge together, creating a new sense of identity. The Normanno-Italian culture was born. While the fighting continued to rage, a new genius daughter was born, Milo. A decisive series of battles outside Tobruk changed the course of the war. Even though the Knights Hospitalia had been destroyed on landing, the Sicilians themselves led the way to victory. taking heavy casualties but driving back the invaders. Needing allies for her war, Lithium betrothed her daughter Odin to the despot of Cyprus. Second battle was fought in Sarshal was another victory for the Sicilians. However, a series of defeats at the Battle of Safrutra put the Sicilians back. The war continued to drag out. Following victory at Kolama gave some hope to the Sicilians as they managed to defeat the enemy, killing 2,000 enemy troops. Further 1,000 were killed shortly after in the Battle of Jebus. Despite the bad ground, fighting in the Battle of the Mountains of Media brought yet another victory. The second son, Hardy, was born in December 1161. This child, comely and quick. With 2 male heirs, the throne now seemed much more secure. However, young Hardy was born sickly. And at last, after yet another battle at Kalabamud, the Holy War was won. Sicily's hold on North Africa was secure once again. Lithium's first daughter, Odin, came of age, a genius, but chaste, sadistic and cynical. Once Odin may have been able to claim the throne, but now with 2 younger brothers, she was simply married off for an alliance with the Duke of Cyprus. In December 1162, the ill Lithium declared a war to retake the Duchy of Tripolitina, which had fallen to a rival state during an inheritance. August of 1163, the Pope granted himself a claim on the Kingdom of Sicily on account of Lithium being a female ruler. As Lithium's reign continued, she reinforced the majesty of the Jebus line. They were now reputable all over the Mediterranean. In October 1164, Odin's husband died. With no child born, Lithium invited her daughter back to her court. Instead, Odin was married to Erard de Blois in a matrilineal marriage, securing an alliance with the Duke of Champagne. The victory in the war against Tripolitina was declared in January 1165. Only a small expansion to the realm, it still led to prestige for Lithium. By the age of 3, Hardy had overcome his initial sickness and was now a healthy child. So around this time that it was noted that the Jebus dynasty was producing a larger than average amount of intelligent children, truly helping rulers such as Lithium maintain power. To further solidify her prestige and stabilise her realm, Lithium held a grand tournament in 1165. The tournament would have 3 phases: the joust on the famed jousting grounds of Palermo, followed by a horse race, and finally a board game. Although Lithium could not take part in the jousting contest herself, her appointed champion Riccardo was very much favoured. However, Riccardo went down in the first round to Tajidin. Final of the joust was between Alomar Makhtar and Tajidin, but Mukhtar in the end won, neighbouring Sultan claiming victory. The horse race, however, Lithium was allowed to enter. Disappointingly, Lithium's horse, Palermo, despite running a great race, failed to place after being distracted in the final lap. However, Lithium had placed a bet on Count Kriski's horse and made a substantial amount of money. While wandering the ground, Lithium stumbled upon an unusual-looking knight, only to realise that this was a woman. Glad to bring other women into positions of power, she recruited Anastasia as one of her own knights. However, Lithium was knocked out in the semi-finals, and Sultan Abd Aziz won once again. Still, the tournament did what Lithium needed it to do, greatly boosting her prestige. Feeling incredibly stressed, Lithium decided to go on a hunt in 1166. Successful hunt left Lithium with sore muscles but a much calmer mind. Then, in 1168, Lithium decided to roll the dice on a major expedition. Since the inception of Sicily, Benevento had been ruled by the papacy. Deciding herself secure enough to fight even the Pope, she declared war. Great battle was fought outside Napoli in 1169. However, the Sicilians carried the day, killing nearly twice as many as they lost. Wanting to secure the war, Lithium called on her cousin, the King of Denmark, as well as her ally, the Duke of Champagne. However, the papal forces hired mercenaries and were able to defeat the Sicilians at a second battle at Benevento. Second Battle of Benevento, the Sicilians lost once again. And then disaster struck as the Duchess of Algiers rose in rebellion. The Battle of Napoli was fought and won, with the war now on two fronts. Everything seemed desperate. A series of battles won in Agnon gave some hope. At the same time, Lithium's son and heir, Muzz, came of age. An insightful thinker, he was patient, just and generous, however lacked his mother's intelligence. He was married to Marana in an attempt to sire more geniuses to the line. For expert planning, Lithium was then known as the matriarch of the dynasty. She then moved over to focusing on strategy. Hoping for an alliance, Lithium betrothed Milo to the king of Darfur. The Pope offered a white peace, and Lithium was forced to accept so that she could focus on the rebellion. However, as Lithium's forces engaged the rebels, she found that her daughter-in-law Marana had died under mysterious circumstances. Instead, Muzz was betrothed to Catalina of Navarra. Same time, after forming an alliance with Navarra, the Sicilians were called into a war against the Duchy of Toulouse. The capture of Duchess Subia's son brought an end to the war. And in retaliation, Lithium seized the Duchy of Sardinia. Lithium's daughter Milo was married when she came of age in 1173, becoming the Queen of the Crusader Kingdom. 1175, a new son was born to the Queen. Wish was the third in line to the throne, born a genius. And disaster struck upon disaster in 1175. Lithium learned that her daughter Milo had died in childbirth. Thankfully, later that month, the Toulousian War ended with a victory. At last, the period of fighting had been brought to an end. Sicily had gained nothing from it, but had not lost either. Now at the age of 45, Lithium would have to push on, eyeing up the kingdoms to her south She was determined that she would expand her realm as her ancestors had. But that is a story for another time. For now we will leave the family, the Jebus dynasty. I hope you join me next time. Until then, farewell.